Can you come up for a second? I hope I didn't put a lot of words in your mouth there. But as if anybody can put words into this guy's mouth. Oh, he goes to the podium. I'm the big bad governor. I get a podium. No, but Governor, seriously? Don't you think you could find a Republican in Washington, D.C., take him into a room, and put together a plan that progressives and conservatives could come together on?
Sure, and Joe's exactly right. The plan he etched out is, I think, a perfect compromise with one caveat. Breaking down the barriers state by state on allowing insurance companies to come in and sell in every state is okay, as long as there are national standards. For example, in Pennsylvania, we require our insurance companies to provide services to autistic children and adults. We require a mandatory cervical cancer screening. Now, we're not ready to let a company from another state that doesn't do that come in and sell to our individuals, because we've made a judgment of what's right. The way to get around that, and Governor Pawlenty suggested this, and I told Governor Pawlenty I'd support him, is create national standards, and if states sign on to national standards, and if the insurance company is willing to live up to those national standards, they can sell everywhere.
And you know what? Even if 20 of those states don't sign up,
you still have
instead of competing in one state, 2 insurance companies, I'll take 30 states, right? So yeah, but the bigger point though is something's happened in America. Something's happened in politics. What is it? Why can't this sort of compromise happen like it used to happen?
It changed somewhere around the beginning of the Clinton administration. Interestingly, when I was mayor of Philadelphia, 5 mayors went down to see Bob Dole in the midst of the budget crisis when the government was in the process of being shut down. And Bob Dole said to us, and he said, if you repeat this publicly, I'll deny it. But it's been 17 years, so I think I can.
The statute of limitations on being honorable is run. Go ahead.
And you'd be interested in this. Bob Dole said, pointing a finger at Newt Gingrich and the ideologues, he said, if Bill Clinton and I got into a room together, we'd have a budget in 3 hours. It's exactly what Joe's talking about. But the problem is, and I blame politicians first, as I said in my opening remarks, media second. The problem is too few of us are willing to take a risk. Too few of us are willing to take a risk. There was a Time magazine cover about 10 years ago with George Washington, a tear going down his eye, and the subtitle was, "With American politicians afraid to lead, the country falters." It's happening today.
And is it worse today?
Yeah, it's worse today because the pressure on politicians from the extremes has gotten so unbelievable. Look at Charlie Crist. Tell them about Charlie Crist.
I was just going to say, I know there's not. But let's just say there were. By the way, there's a budget crisis in every state in America. And I've said this to the governor, just like I said it to John Corzine, a guy I really love, a good friend of ours of the show. This is the worst time, seriously, to be governor, ever. It is a horrific time. But here's the problem, state by state by state, and in Washington, D.C. If a Democratic governor, in the middle of an impasse, decided he wanted to show courage and reach out to a Republican, they would go, they would have a discussion, and by the end of that discussion, it would be on the Huffington Post. Governor Rendell sells out to moneyed interests. No, I'm dead serious. That's a problem with this health care bill. That every time Democrats come together and try to compromise with each other, not even Republicans, 2 seconds later it's on Daily Kos or the Huffington Post, that they're sellouts, that they hate little children. The same thing happens on the other side. If a Republican decides to compromise with Barack Obama, the same thing happens. That is a serious one. I'm not saying let's get rid of the internet, let's censor. I'm not saying that. I'm just, if you want to know what the biggest problem is, I think that's one of the great problems today. That compromise is seen as weakness, and in this environment, if you disagree with somebody, they're not wrong, they're evil. And we got to get past that.